Hey folks, welcome back. Pop Retro 1 at Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/Pop Retro 1. That's the number 1. That's where you can find me on the social media. And I thought I'd take a few minutes today to not talk about a physical media item, but instead talk about Alfred Hitchcock's very first movie that he directed. Or his first feature film, at least. It was the silent drama, The Pleasure Garden. Now, I've recently getting back into Hitchcock, and you never really get out of it, but, you go through stages where you want to watch all his films again and things like that. And for me, I've often gone back to the greatest hits, but, this past couple months, I started rereading some of the books that I read, the earliest books that I read on Hitchcock. The very first one I read was when I was in high school. It was a book published in 1990 on the making of Psycho. I think for a lot of us, Psycho was probably the first, our entryway, I guess, into Hitchcock films. I know that as a 80s child, if you grew up watching the slasher films, the Friday the 13th movies and the Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street movies, Psycho and its later sequels were often kind of mixed in with those when they were being rerun on TV or talked about around that time. So it was fun rereading that and kind of getting back into it. But some movies I never saw. And I never did see The Pleasure Garden from 1925, the silent film that was Hitchcock's first. And part of the reason, I think, was because there's just access. I was never able to find it anywhere. You probably could have gotten it on a bootleg somewhere or something like that. But, I never went that far to seek it out. And I thought it would be fun to give it a watch, considering it's on Amazon Prime. So after doing a little bit of reading, I found that there are a couple different versions. And so I don't know if the one on Prime that I watched is actually a bootleg version or a restored version. Apparently there was a restoration done in Britain back in 2012 that added 20 minutes of long lost footage to the runtime. But the version on Amazon Prime is 60 minutes long. So I'm guessing it's probably not the restored version, but it does have a score. There is a some sort of a score with that version that's on Amazon. So I really don't know. And so if you know, pop it in the comments and let me know just what kind of a version that I saw on Amazon that was. I'm very curious. And so yeah, anyhow, when you go and talk to your friends or family members, anytime I go to watch a silent film, I enjoy watching old silent films. However, I do go into them knowing what I am getting into, knowing that I'm watching them as sort of a pseudo student of film. I know I'm not going to get some modern Hollywood spectacular with what's going on. These were, and that's not why I watched them. I watched them for the historical basis of them. And I gotta say, The Pleasure Garden, I don't know why I'm surprised, but it was really good. I found myself engaged and I found myself glued. Once the story really got going, I was like, wow, this is great. It's melodrama. It is a lot of kind of soap opera. And of course, a lot of the traits that you would associate with Hitchcock films going forward. Just the messy dynamics between human beings and their relationships, the marriages and the relationships between men and women, on full display in The Pleasure Garden, even back in 1925. And I thought that was really, really interesting and cool to see. Essentially, it's about, this woman. She goes to London. I believe it was filmed in Italy and Germany, this movie, but based in London. So this woman goes to London. She wants to be a dancer. Her name's Jill, played by Carmelita Garatti, Geraghty. Not sure how to say her name, but she goes to London. She wants to be a part of this chorus line, this dancing troupe, and something happens. She gets her money stolen, pickpocketed, and so she runs into a woman named Patsy, who actually is a dancer. And Patsy allows her to move in with her and helps her out and helps her get a spot in the chorus. And after that, there are men that come into their lives, and the men are, of course, they're after the women because they're attractive, and men being men. And then the women, especially Jill, winds up using her femininity to get what she wants, eventually playing a couple of different guys, and winds up even dating a prince for a while. And of course, before you know it, murder has entered into it, and like I just said, the dynamics, the messy dynamics that human beings so often display is on full display here in the Pleasure Garden. So also stars Miles Mander, Jon Stewart, and Ferdinand Martini. Virginia Valli, Valli, plays Patsy, who is kind of the good gal, and so at the beginning of the movie, the things that you expect to happen isn't exactly what winds up happening. And that's really it's that suspense and that not knowing where things are going to end up, and the shock that often comes with watching a Hitchcock movie that you find. I guess I was just surprised because, again, it was his first feature-length debut as a director, and so I wasn't expecting much, and I had never seen it. So I was excited because I'd never seen it, but I wasn't expecting to be, I guess, as blown away as I was. And so thankfully this film is actually available and out there to watch. There's a DVD release, an official release, but it's a PAL European release. I think I saw it on Amazon for a really high amount, so it's probably out of print. It would be great if somebody would get that restored version from the 2012 restoration and put it on Blu-ray. And if it is out there and I just don't know about it, let me know. But as far as I know, there is no North American release, and there's no Blu-ray release, but has been restored. It is on Amazon Prime. If you're a Prime subscriber, you can watch it for free on there. It's a 60-minute version, like I said, and it looks good. It looks good to me. I can't tell if it's the restored version or not. I don't know how beat up and bad it may have looked before, so I'm no expert on that type of stuff. So anyhow, there you have it. The Pleasure Garden, 1925. I'm going to keep going along the line and just the Hitchcock films they have over the last, I want to say 3, 4, 5 years, many of them have been released on Blu-ray that never had Blu-ray releases before. And so I've picked up some of them here and there as I've gone along, and I'm kind of now taking inventory of my old Hitchcock collection, DVDs mostly, and upgrading and picking up films of Hitchcock's that I didn't have in the past as I go through these. So that's going to be fun, and I'll check back in with another Hitchcock here coming up hopefully soon. Until then, I'll be back with some more reviews and some more haul videos before you know it. I'll see you then.